This is Carrie Johnson with the Iowa Department of Management, and this is part 6 of a 6-part series to discuss the submission of the 2022 valuations to the Department of Management's Property Evaluation System. This particular segment, as I mentioned, is the last segment, and it will talk about finalizing and filing the data with Department of Management. Before filing data, be sure to run the errors check and rollback worksheet. We talked about that a couple sessions ago. Make sure that those are what you expect them to be and you are error free. After making any changes, so if you find a correction you need to make in the valuation system or a late business, change due to a case or a settlement, please rerun the errors check and rollback reports after you make any change to values. Keep in mind that you cannot flip-flop taxing district numbers from year to year. So you can't have a tax district be 123 one year and expect that same taxing district to be 124 the next year. You can't change taxing districts from a TIF base to a TIF increment or vice versa. If you do so, you will get an error in the system. The system expects that once you create a tax district, it will not change from year to year. So just kind of keep that in mind. Also, you cannot change a non-TIF taxing district to a TIF taxing district or vice versa. You cannot change a taxing district property type from rural to urban or urban to rural. You can't change a taxing district from city exempt to not city exempt or vice versa. And you cannot submit any negative valuations, negative military exemptions, or negative homestead amounts. In regards to final checks, be sure to check with your assessor, reconcile the valuations with the assessor's abstract of values that they sent to Department of Revenue. Determine if there were any adjustment issues that affected the values since the assessor submitted them to you. So was a case settled that reduced someone's value? Was there a PAB board case that came into being and so you have to adjust value? Anything of that nature. Also be sure to check your TIF, manually check TIF district valuations to make sure that your software generated amounts equal the amounts calculated using the TIF formula. If a TIF authority requests less than the amount authorized, make sure you reallocate unneeded increment value to the base valuation. Ensure that any rollback comes off the base TIF district first. And make sure that both your 100% and taxable value are both appropriately distributed between the base and increment tax districts. That is an expectation of the value when you file it. If you have additional questions regarding TIF, you may want to consult the series that I prepared located on the same page as this series that goes into more depth as far as managing TIF within the valuation system. Regarding utility values, if any taxing districts were created or deleted and they contained utility valuations, make sure that the movement of utility valuations from one tax district to another is reconciled with Department of Revenue and the utilities companies. There is a form that you're required to use if there is movement of utility values. So, any like telephone utilities as well as gas and electric utilities, for example. IDR Form 2 is found on the website for Department of Revenue and their Property Tax Division. So be sure to consult that form and complete it if you have situations where you, as the county auditor, are moving utility value from one tax district to another. And of course, while working with the data in the system, once you're complete, you'll be asked to file the data with DOM to make the reports public. So once you do that, anytime you have to go in and make changes, you want to be sure to unfile the data first thing before you go in and make your changes. So that way, as you're working in the system, it's no longer available to the public. So go in, unfile your data, make your changes, and be sure to file data with DOM again to finalize those changes. So in order to file with Department of Management and make your data public, you'll go on the left-hand navigation to File Unfiled Data. It's going to show your current status. Before you file, it's going to say work in progress, data status not public. You file data with DOM. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do it? It will make your data available to the public. Yes. And then DOM data for county filed successfully. It will give you that green notification that your data is successfully filed. Now, if you try to file and you have errors, it's going to tell you you have errors and they must be fixed prior to filing data. If you are going to make any corrections after you have filed your data, be sure to unfile first thing. So you go back into the system, it's going to tell you, again, you're filed with DOM, your data status is public. You unfile the data, then to make it unavailable to the public, make your changes, check over everything, and then file your data again. So when you unfile, it's going to change your status to work in progress. Keep in mind that valuation reports are due to levy authorities by January 1. Obviously, that's a holiday, so usually we're looking at January 2nd. So you need to provide those valuation reports to all of your taxing entities as well as file on the system with Department of Management. And so your public, so anyone hitting this valuation page, can see the status of your filing. There's a column that shows whether or not you're filed or unfiled. So it lists by county and it'll say status valuations not filed or filed once you have completed that process. So that way, all of the entities within your county will know whether or not you're done with your values. Public reports, a variety of reports are available to anyone via the public reports link on the Department of Management website. Just as a way to get there from the county resource page is just to go to view valuation reports. So public valuation reports, again, are available to anyone. They're available once the county has filed their value. There's a variety of reports that are available. You, as a county auditor, have additional reports available to you when you're logged into the system. But if you want to, say, access the data for another county because you're, doing some comparisons or what have you, then you would want to access that through the public valuation reports link. And you'd have to be logged out of the system to do that. If you're logged into the system, you're going to be accessing more reports, but they are just your reports. If you want to view another county's reports, then you're going to have to be logged out of the system. So those reports, again, can be available in PDF or CSV, and download and work with those reports in Excel. So if you have someone looking for some data, that's a good place to point them to. Again, refiling your values, make sure you file data with DOM again after you make your changes. Otherwise, we won't know that you're done. And alert all affected levy authorities to any changes. If you have any questions regarding filing your data or at any point through the process of working with your 2022 values, be sure to contact me. You can reach me by phone or email. Thank you.